Okay, let's go to Abuja and ask Alhaji Jijiwa, who is the chairman of Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria. Alhaji, if things are going on as you said, who are the key players in this? Ministry of Sports, the Minister of Sports, the Minister of Information. What efforts are they throwing behind the weight of bond to make sure that the negotiation comes up with something that enables Nigerians to see the key matches where our footballers are going to be participating?
Thank you very much. The key players in this are the broadcasters themselves, namely the major stations, which constitute what we call the Central Working Committee, and the Central Working Committee is made up of most of the major broadcasters for radio and television. We have briefed all agencies of government concerned, including even the National Assembly, the Committee on Sports, Committee on Information. We have also briefed the Honorable Ministers of Sports and Information. And I do know that the Minister of Sports has asked the NFF to partner with us, and very likely in our next discussion, NFF will be part of the discussion. For us, we'll appreciate any leverage support from any government organization. But as you know, BON is not a government institution. It's a coalition of all broadcasters, public and private, and therefore BON is independent, and therefore we will definitely appreciate and leverage on government support, and that's what we are expecting to happen. We believe that with strong executive and political support from the government, CAF can ask some its marketers to back down for the good of the beautiful game of football, and that's what we are looking forward to.
If all options fail to amount to anything, if it so happens that we end up in a situation where Nigeria cannot watch these games on terrestrial television, what do you anticipate will be the potential impact of this on the game of football in Nigeria?
The potential is that everybody has to go back to the drawing boards, and the starting point should be that CAF should look at its policy on marketing of these rights, and Nigerian government should insist that, and I believe this is also happening in many other countries, but Nigeria is particularly hard hit because they are pushing this very, very hard on us. And I believe that even if we are not represented on the CAF committee, executive committee, we are still a member of CAF, and I believe Nigeria is simply such a big and strong country to be ignored. It cannot be ignored, and therefore our government should go back to CAF and insist that the right policies, that they emphasize on the economics and emphasize more on getting the beautiful game of football into the homes of the average citizens of Nigeria and Africa, should be the dominant basis for any policy. For us in Bonn, we are determined to forge ahead and remain focused and united and ensure that from now onwards, this shall continue to be our policy. We will look at things purely from a perspective that does not kill our stations. In a situation where everybody will have win-win. FIFA will win, CAF will win, and the Nigerian broadcasters will win, and the viewers and our audiences, more importantly, will also be winners. So if, in the worst case scenario, nothing happens, I apologize on behalf of my fellow colleagues, broadcasters, but we are doing this because we believe that the best thing to do is to suffer temporarily and then win in a bigger way later.
Contribution to this conversation. We've been speaking with Alhaji Abubakar Jijiwa, who is the DG of Voice of Nigeria, and also the chairman of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria. Thank you very much, sir. All right.
Okay. Now that we have left Alaji, let me throw that same question that Kayode just asked Alaji to you. What do you think the impact would be on the game in Nigeria if Nigerians do not get to watch those matches?
Well, it will, the impact won't be felt much, in the sense that most times when Nigeria is playing in an international competition, you see kids, mimicking, the actions of some of the key players, some of the stars. You see kids saying, "Oh, I am Samuel Eto'o, I'm Victor Moses," and stuff like that. But by and large, the area I'm looking at it is on the wider perspective. Wider perspective in the sense that whenever Nigeria plays in an international competition, especially football, crime is reduced in the country. The level of violence and other things, other vices are reduced, because most of the time you see Nigerians, when the Super Eagles, when they're playing and they're doing well, all those things, people who want to make trouble, those who want to perpetrate violence and stuff, they forget about that. They watch the matches. Even the robbers that want to go and attack, they want to watch a good match. So basically, the government, the federal government, definitely, I'm sure, just like Gordon said, they're going to do something about it, because they bank on it. They bank on when the Eagles go out there to play international competition and they play well, because their job is reduced. The job of the police is reduced. The problem of the federal government is also reduced at that point in time. So definitely, they will do something about it, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Do you share that opinion?
Well, it started by saying that the absence of you and I being able to see these games on Channel Television, Lagos Television, and NTA will not be fed. But I like the other part of it where it talked about the repercussion, the ripple effects, as it were. Someone joked with me this morning on my way to the studio. He said that we may have to do what the late General Abacha did in 1996 when he said we're not going to the Nations Cup. If the South Africans are meddling in our private business, then we won't go. If the Minister of Sport, Bolaji Abdullahi, decides to say, okay, CAF, we're writing you, this is the first letter, Nigeria is pulling out of the Nations Cup if you don't do this. I don't think we should get there. But if we have to use subtle threat, I don't want to think about Nigeria not seeing the Nigerian matches at the Nations Cup. So that's why I'm thinking, I'm right there, that we might have to use subtle threat because CAF, they know the importance. Isayatu knows the importance of Nigeria as far as football is concerned. Isayatu wants to come back as CAF president again, and he knows those he needs to bank on to have a smooth ride, to stay there in perpetuity. So I think seriously, that Nigeria will do something about it, but we need to bite, not just backing. We must back and also bite. Then CAF will listen to Nigeria. Other nations in Africa, we've heard stories like the Ghanaians will not see the African Nations Cup so many years ago. But at the last minute, CAF had to, because we had MTN sponsoring the African Nations Cup at some point. The marketers of the rights were not asking for 8 million. So now Orange, that's what I'm coming to the branding issue now. It's not because Orange, which is a telecommunications company, is part of the Nations Cup that we have a problem. The other sponsors will not come. We are saying, let it be something that is affordable. Then a Globacom, an MTN, and a T-Salat will want to play some role somehow. I'm an independent producer. If Nigeria didn't qualify for the last Nations Cup, and I knew how terrible it was for us. I mean, no money. Now we have another Nations Cup. Nigeria is involved, and no Nigerian station can take it. I mean, I don't want to think about that.
Now, let me ask you that. When you look at what we can say sounds like rhetorics that's been coming out from the likes of Sepp Blatter about the development of the sport of this game, football, in Africa, and how much investment has gone into the development of football in Africa, as well as how much they've invested in development of stadia across the continent. Because this is FIFA money, and CAF is part of FIFA to a large extent. Sure. How do we explain this kind of situation we have on our hands?
Well, it's not a palatable one per se. It's not a palatable one. But basically, just as I said earlier on, you know, CAF is they are seeing the whole thing as purely business, and but at the same time, as I said earlier, also they should look at a situation whereby, you know, the participating countries, you know, get something that is reduced, not you know, the exorbitant amount they're asking for, you know. So if you look at it, basically, it's not good for the development. It's not good for the FIFA and Vito CAF. They are talking about, you know, grassroots development. They are talking about, you know, catching the talents from the grassroots. So if those in the grassroots properly, we are looking at Nigeria now. If they cannot see the Nations Cup, if they cannot see, you know, skills, if they cannot see moves, they can mimic to actually become great stars, then what are we talking about? You know, so they should look at it. There should be a review. But now, talking about it right now, with just few days to the Nations Cup, it's like a wild goose chase, and that is my belief. But as Godwin said earlier, also, drastic move. If we move drastically, we know Nigerians, we are like magicians. If we really want something done, no, we are like magicians. We are like magicians. If we really want something done, they will get it done, but not to the extent of saying, oh, though you just put it on the card that, okay, if we can threaten a substitute threat to cap that, if Nigerians can't watch the Nations Cup on terrestrial TV, then the Super Eagles can as well stay back.
So Godwin, what's your thought on the suggestion by some analysts, football analysts, who are saying that if only Nigeria has its position of eminence in the sports in Africa, that this will not be happening? If we were rated one of the top 2, top 3 footballing nations in Africa, that this will not even be the case at all, because they will see the importance of a potential winner. But we're not clear. Yes, that respect will be there.
It doesn't follow at all. It's not your ranking or rating in football in Africa or in the world is not an issue. We're talking about playing a friendly game. That's a different ball game. You know, the Spaniards will want to play Nigeria because we're number 1 in Africa. We have a pedigree and what have you. The Super Eagles will always be the Super Eagles. You know, we have, it's just a face, you know, in every...
always be the Super Eagles.
No. What I'm saying, no, they will always be. You can't, I'm sure you want to put all your monies in your pocket. You can't bet against the Super Eagles, not going very far at the Nations Cup. You might say it in passing, but when it comes to, hey, can you bet on this? I'm sure you will not do that. What I'm saying is
out of patriotism, not out of...
You know, what I'm saying is you pull a surprise. They've done that severally. When you least expect the Super Eagles to fly, that's when they surprise you. You know, that's it. No, they've been doing that. They've been doing that.
For many
seriously.
years now.
Yeah, and that's why I said
football
is a face. The Brazilians last won the World Cup in 90 what? When they were in Korea. And they came back. Before then, they won it in 1970. They had to wait for so many years before they won the World Cup again. So I've always told people that football is a face. The Barcelona of this world, the Barcelona is doing so well right now. But a time comes when this same Barcelona team will play the same tiki-taka football they play, and the two may walk in. Bring whoever to come and coach the team. So football is a face. It's not working for Nigeria now. It's not. I don't agree that it's because primarily we're not doing the right things. It just comes and it goes. It's not 1+1, and football doesn't work that way. So what I'm saying in essence is not because we are rated highly or poorly or whatever. The bottom line is there is a business that's been gone into by some very selfish people without consulting. Ayatu runs CAF alone. He doesn't consult anybody. That is a statement of fact. Even we had a Dr. Amos Adamo right there. He wouldn't have foreseen this. A right has been given to some people to market the Nations Cup. It's not about making money for the participants, because the winner of the Nations Cup takes how much? About 1.something million. Same thing dollars as the CAF Champions League. So it's not for the participant, it's about money for the boys. You know, maybe a parting gift or whatever. So they just go out there. Somebody should have sat down to say, okay, this is not what it's supposed to be. 8 million is too much. I think it is time for Ayatu, who is a friend of Nigeria, he's always confessed that he's a friend of Nigeria, that Nigeria made him when he was playing volleyball before he came into football. So I think it's just a matter of time. Ayatu will call Sport 5 to order to say, okay, maybe you can have this, or you can reach an agreement. Anyhow, Nigerians must see the Nations Cup, must see the Super Eagles on terrestrial television.
Let me ask you the same question. Do you agree with Godwin that our rating or ranking has no implication on this kind of decision? Because the thought of analysts is that if we were rated highly, this situation might not have arisen.
Yeah, we are football people. We are sports people. We are into this business, so we know it's right. Definitely, even if you are ranked +1, if you are ranked +1, it does not affect a decision like this. They've taken their own decision, but what the palliative we can actually do when it comes to Nigeria is for the federal government to move in drastically, get the issue resolved and make sure Nigerians see the Super Eagles play on terrestrial TV, and that is just basically what will happen. Okay. Either you are number 1, number 2, or number 3, does not it doesn't affect anything.
Okay, thank you very much. We want to say thank you to Dakwa Shotuminu, who's a sports journalist, and also Godwin Anakima, who's an independent sports producer. Thank you very much. And again, thanks to Alhaji Abubakar Jijiwa, who featured on the program as well earlier. He is the chairman of Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria.